Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the book club, which is What If a Transformational Guide. All right, you guys, we are going to get started right after a couple of announcements. Um, First, Tony Green, psychic medium, author, channel hypnotist, and healer. And this is one of the books that I have authored. This one right here, What If? A Transformational Guide. Every week we just go through one question to and discuss it. If this is, then what does that mean for your life? How does that change your life, who you are, and what you're going through, and how you look at life? Couple of announcements. Every Monday at noon, I go live with psychic medium Tony Green, answer questions, help you connect with loved ones. Hey, music lady, how are you? Hey, Fawn, I'm so happy you guys are here. Hey, Rebecca. Um, you guys, I do have a bit of a thing going on with I don't know what I'm gonna do. Okay, so I signed up with Podbean because Podbean allows people to call in. It's really great. It's for me personally. I don't know how to. I've tried a couple of times to schedule a show and then find the show and do the show, and well, they just so I have not been able to do that. So now they just said they're not going to allow, as of February, I don't know, I have to look at my phone. I just took a picture of it. As of some date, I don't know what date, because that's how I remember things now, not at all. Um, May 18th, they're not going to allow any new lives. And as of June something, June 16th or 18th, it will be completely disabled. So I'm going to have to figure that out. There's going to be a learning curve, but there's also another thing going on with them um, that I'm trying to figure out. And I don't think I'm going to be able to resolve it easily. So they just charged my card an amount for the year. And then it was, I reached out. I'm like, hey, what's up with this? And I said, I don't want to be on like this plan, and can we move me to this plan? And their answer is a solid no. They won't refund or partial refund and move me to a different plan. The plan that they charged me for has things I will not use, and to be honest, it's a little pricey. I think $350 a year um, is a bit pricey. There's a lot of other uh, hosting companies, but none of them allow you to call in. None of them allow you to call in. However, Podbean does have a $12 a month plan, and I just am asking them, hey, bop me down to the $12 a month plan. And they keep saying, we can't do that until your next billing cycle. Well, they charged me for a whole year, so my next billing cycle is obviously in a year. So I've been in this email thing every day, go for a couple of days, going back and forth. So I think what I'm going to have to do, and this is where it comes in for the show, because normally, yeah, that it is crazy, Heather. It, I wasn't even aware. First of all, Podbean is very, very good at certain things. Number one, it has the call in option. Love that. I love that so much. um, and I can just go live like you can on Rumble, on YouTube, on everything. They're taking that option away to just go live. I have not been able to figure out how to schedule a show, and they use. I know you guys can laugh at me all you want. They use military time. Like if you're trying to schedule a show, it's not AM, PM, it's just 1 through 24. I think it's 24. I don't even know. It's like military time. I have so many things going on. I don't have time to learn military time. I don't know. I make so many mistakes with AM and PM. People are like, just this week, my show yesterday, I had it scheduled for like 10 p.m. and somebody took a picture, circled it, and sent it to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I should fix that. But another thing is, once I schedule a show with Podbean, I can never ever find it. Um, I don't know where to go to find the shows. I'm so sorry. I keep bumping this to find the shows I've scheduled. And again, that's probably my non-techie self, very, very not techie. So what I think I'm going to do, if I have to I literally have to this, cancel this, cancel the Podbean I have, and then re-sign up under the other plan. For real, for real, for real, for real. But if that's what it is, it is. But yeah, Rebecca says she can't figure out Podbean. Thank you for saying that. She can't figure out Podbean either. It, they have all these tutorials, but still can't. I still can, and I know I am not in any way, shape, or form a techie. I get that. I like have a person who is constantly sending me, and I love her for this. I love her. She is constantly sending me like step by step how to do things on social media, and she's very good at it. She's very good at it. That's her jam. She can do it. It's not my jam. But if they're taking away the lives and I can't figure out how to schedule, I don't know what I'm going to do. So that's where I am today. As of right now, I feel like because they refuse to just shift the payment, um, I feel like I'm going to have to cancel and start again, which means whatever this is might no longer be here. And when I go live, I'll have to have the whole thing done. But then I have to figure out how to schedule shows on this Podbean too, because so far, not so good with that. Not so good with that on my end, but it is what it is. Everything is learning. Podbean is always a search and find for Tony shows. Yeah, the call in feature is really good, especially for, yeah, I can't even figure out how to post a question there. It's only convenient here. See, yeah, and again, I'm going to say this again. I'm with Podbean for the call-in feature. So if people go over to Podbean and if they can find me, and thank God for Rebecca putting all the links in and doing all of that work, then they can get on Podbean and they can call in. And there is another company, Rumble. Now, I don't know how far in the future this is. I've tried to email them and ask them. I don't think they've gotten back to me, but it was like a bit ago. It was when Blog Talk first went down. But Rumble said in Rumble Studio, they say they're going to have a call in queue. It's not there yet. They don't have it yet. So what I'm saying is the next couple weeks might be another learning curve with Podbean because I won't be able to just come on and hit go live. I'm literally going to have to figure out some things. And then the other thing I said to them, not to like completely make this a venti thing, but I said, hey, my shows are not showing up on, because they're supposed to, part of the service you're paying for is they distribute it to everybody, which, if you're on Spreaker or any of the other things, they also do it. You do your podcast and they distribute it to everyone everywhere that you have signed up to distribute it to. Um, so I was on Spotify and I realized the last show I had that showed up was like a year ago when I first started with Podbean. So I said, "Hey, my shows are not showing up there." So she gets back to me. She goes, "Yeah, they are," and she shows me, and it's the last show now, not a couple days ago, because I did like the full on searches. Now my shows are showing up, but the last show is February of this year, not February of last year. So I don't know what to do, you guys. Technology is amazing and wonderful, and these services are great. Um, but uh, but it is very, some of it is challenging when you are not a techie and not, you just want something easy breezy, lemon squeezy, let's get it done. So I don't know. I don't know. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens as we move on. Um, but I think it's crazy. I think it's the craziest thing in the world. And who knows, for me talking about this, they might just like cut me out. I don't know. Um, I think it's crazy. They charge my card for the year, a year, like the year renewal, and they will not, like, I've never heard of a company doing this, but they will not shift it from this plan to this plan. They won't refund and then recharge this plan. They're just saying no at the end of the billing cycle. But they didn't give me a pre-warning like, "Hey, your renewal is coming up," so I could, anyway, that's my thing. That's where I am. This is where I'm trying to figure out, letting you guys know this is kind of what's going on. So if you are following me here, who knows? Hopefully, because I sent her an email this morning and I said I literally have to cancel and then re-sign up in order for this, because like if you're not gonna redo it until the end of my billing cycle, that's a year away. Like, I don't know. Okay, enough about that. Just letting you know. Um, it their customer, you know what, Noelle, that's a thing. Sometimes, like, even with YouTube, they'll let you call them. They'll like phone a friend, PayPal, phone a friend. Here you have to send an email. You can't say, "Hey, can I talk to somebody else about this?" But to me, it's so absurd. I can't fathom that they would literally have you cancel your membership over downgrading your program. I don't know, but that's where it is. So if I have to do that, you guys, and you go to Podbean to watch me, you might I might not be in the same spot. It might look like something brand new coming in. Okay? And that's the why. And then and then if I can't figure out how to schedule a show, and I know how to schedule it, if I can't find the shows, I don't even know if I'm gonna be able to do the show on here. But one step at a time, everything will go. Okay, let's talk about today's question, which is a really good question. What if you are supposed to live in faith, love, and let go of fear as it is an illusion? So last week we talked about, what if fear is an illusion? And it is. Um, I've so we've already discussed fear is illusion. So what if we're just supposed to live in faith? Now, my personal belief, there's only one thing in the world. People say, well, there's two things in the world, faith and fear. Well, fear is an illusion, so there's only one, faith. And I want to ask you, think about something you're afraid of or you've been concerned or worried about, whether it be money, and most of our fears, 90% of our fears come back to money. 90% of our fears come back to having enough money or having the money for the thing we're afraid of, paying our rent, buying food, la, 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 for some of us, for some people. I want you to think of something you are a bit like you might worry about, be concerned about. And then I'm going to ask you a question. So when you have that thing, then I'm going to say, but haven't you always been taken care of? There may have been an up and down. There may have been a moment of, ooh, I can't get my iced frappuccino. I don't know coffee. I'm really sorry. I don't even know if that's really a coffee. I apologize. But I can't get my iced frappuccino this week, or I shouldn't get it, or maybe my credit card debts are a little bit more than I want them to be. But you've always been taken care of. I mean, even, and I'm joking about this, don't do this. Even if one card gets maxed out and then you get another one, you're like, oh, I can live on this one for a minute. I mean, I'm using money because money is a thing that we all, number one, need, and number two, experience on the daily. Number three, in some area, whether it's you invested in something and now you have the fear of what's going to happen in that investment. You have a position, but it's not bringing in as much as you need or want, or you're in fear of losing that position. I'm going to keep it a buck with you. I'm going to keep it way above a buck. Nobody really cares if they lose their job. It's a job. We care that we won't have the money to pay the bills, to live in the house and buy the food. Unless like you really love your job. Most people aren't afraid like, "Oh, I'm going to lose this job." They're afraid if I lose my job, this is going to be the result. So let's talk about it. Let's get into this. If you're supposed to live in faith and fear, and you can look at the fact like, I've always been taken care of, I've always been protected, everything has always worked out, then what's the fear? What's the fear? Let's talk about it. Okay. So that's where I'm starting. If anybody wants to call in, hi, Tony. We are stuck on town still. What does stuck on town still mean, Fawn? Hey, Rebecca. Rebecca's calling in. Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Getting off
Mhm.
of a cold, but I'm good.
Mhm. I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
So go ahead.
money.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was just listening to that, and money is one of my fears. How am I going
yeah,
to pay the bills? How am I going to do this? But then when you
yeah.
add in what has happened before, I always had a job. I always moved on. There was
Yes,
always money coming from somewhere, no
yes,
matter what.
yes, yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So, and here's the thing, Rebecca, like we, people are so conflicted, and I don't want this whole thing to be about money, but money is one of the easier things to discuss with as it pertains to fear, because I think at some point each and every one of us has had fear as it pertains to money. Okay, so whether it was when we were younger, whether it's with whatever it's with in the moment, that is it, we have um, like even if it's been with your kiddos and something going on with them, like paying for their college, or sending them something that they need, and like just whatever it is. But there's also fear, and we're going to go into this, and it's going to hopefully be super duper good. There's fear with relationships. Now, some people, they're in really good relationships or decent relationships. They're not afraid it's going to end. They're not afraid it's going to go sideways or off the rails or all the things people say. But if you've been in relationships that have not, if you're in a relationship that maybe is not the best, or you've been in relationships that maybe were traumatic or not the best. Okay, so if you're in one and it's not the best, and you don't want to stay, but you don't want to go, that's pure fear. That's paralysis fear. It's a paralysis fear. Like no choice seems good, so you stay paralyzed. And the things I hear, and this is in the book I'm bringing out in a bit. I'm going to be bringing it out. Hopefully, I'm doing my second read through, and it's, oh my God, I did one edit, I did a read through. Now I'm doing my second read through, and I keep getting lost. Didn't I read this? Was that today? Was that yesterday? It's crazy. Um, but it one of the things the things that people say is like, will I find somebody better? Will they be okay? Will this, will that, will the other thing? And so those are all fears. Those are all big old fears. Now, if we've been in a traumatic relationship, sometimes it's the fear of getting into another relationship and repeat with somebody that has similar characteristics to the last person. And that can be just as paralyzing, keeping us stuck in that. So there's the relationship and there's the money. And everything I think for us humans today comes down to love and money. And the love is the relationship. And it can even be, let me step aside. Let me step aside of the why can't I think of the word? What is wrong with me right now? The relationship, the partner, the the adult relationship. Somebody please give me that word. The marriage type relationship. Let's talk about the relationship with family and friends and how they can go sideways, and then we can be a kind of in a paralysis of allowing new people in, or continuing or reestablishing with family and friends because we're afraid it's going to happen again. Okay, so these are the two things. If there's a third, fourth, fifth thing, please put it in. Let's discuss it. Now, with family and friends, it's and partners, it's when we think about it, I want you to think for a second, I was with this person X years ago and we broke up and it was fine. I moved on. I don't even think about that person any longer. Right? Right? Like whenever you think about your current person, excuse me, or your most recent person, excuse me, um, think about the person you were with 2 or 3 relationships ago, and how you don't even, when you look at that, you kinda laugh and go, "What was I thinking?" Like that one song, "What was I thinking?" And then from there, "Okay, I survived that. I got through that. Yeah, it was hard to walk away in that moment, but look at where I am now. Look at how I am now." Okay? And then think, if for me personally, and Rebecca says, yes, that's right. With everything in life, you move on once you let go of the fear. And you do. Rebecca, thank you. That's such an amazing statement. Um, so once when you're thinking about meeting someone new, don't default to the last person you were with, because It ended. It probably didn't end on the best terms. Think about somebody that you know of or see that has a really good relationship so that you start embedding in your programming good relationships are there. Good relationships are there, and good relationships happen when we really pay attention in the beginning. We don't care if we have a relationship or not. So we're not in that state of, I really want someone, just anyone. We're in that state of, I'm good on my own. And if someone can come in that compliments me, we're going to go with that. Okay. So that is where we're going to be going. So if there's another fear other than relationship, love, or money, please let me know now, um, so that we can talk about that too. We can get into that too. Thank you, everybody who's joining on Podbean. Thank you, everybody, for joining on YouTube. And let's talk about it. So, when we talk about the money aspect, I want to do a little exercise with it. Hey, Catherine. Hey, Suxby. I'm probably saying that wrong, and I apologize. I want to do a little exercise with you just to see where your comfort zone is with money. Someone's going to give you a check, okay? What's the first number that comes to your head that they could give you? Just give you. You can put it in the chat, you can put it um in the chat, or okay, Rebecca says 2000. Nice, thank you. Catherine says, as a mom, I'm always worried about something bad happening to my boy. Oh, I completely missed that one. Fear of something bad happening to, yes, we'll discuss that one too. That is so true. I don't have children, but when I did, not to compare my dogs to anybody's children because people get really offended by that. But if you've ever had a dog that you loved, you get it. I had so much fear of everything with my dogs, like even people coming around them because they were little and frail, like, don't be rough with them. Don't this. Don't hurt them. Like I so much fear. So much fear. Yeah. So fear of because we don't have control over that too, right? These are things we don't have control over. And I think that's such a good, thank you so much, Catherine. That is such a good point because it helped me to bring up the fact that the things we're afraid of are the things we do not have control over. So the answers we're getting for money are 2,000, 15,000, 100,000. Yes, fear with animals. Yeah, Fawn says that too. Um, So Heather's 15,000 says money that's been owed to me, LOL, would be nice. Okay. So here's what I'm going to say for everybody listening. If somebody just gave you $1 million, what would your first reaction be? What would it be? Would you take it if you don't know the person? Crying, falling on my knees, thanking God. Yeah, right? Seriously. Would you take it? Think, or would you be worried about what's the agenda? Am I going to have to pay this back? Would there be more worry or more faith with that? $1 million, but didn't want people to think I'm greedy. Yes. Oh my gosh, Catherine. I wish I had a hammer and a nail right now. Yes. I almost put 1 million, but didn't want people to think I'm greedy. I have very big dreams. Yes, yes, yes. Music lady, pay off my bills and then invest money to help others. Okay. Okay. Your first response to $1 million and then your second thoughts about it will tell you something. Now, if I said somebody's going to give you $100, you wouldn't think twice about it. It would be no big deal, right? Even $10,000 might be like, "Oh yeah, I can get caught up. I can be," but you wouldn't be like, "I'm good." You still have to go to work tomorrow, right? Even with a million in today's world, even with $1 million, you still have to set that alarm and go to work tomorrow. Um, okay, next. Okay, she did maybe yes. Okay, so now let's talk about once you have the money in the bank, what are your thoughts? Because I have some of Catherine's fears of what people think about how I get my money or what people say about that. And then also that there's a thing, the less money you have, the less responsible you have to feel. You can manage it easily, consistently. But the more money in your bank, and I'm going to give you an example, and it goes with your comfort zone. So everybody here has been in different financial states and have different comfort zones at different times. So if you consistently, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, if you consistently bring in $10,000 a month, and the first couple months might be a little like, oh, but once you get comfortable with that, I'm going to tell you 9 times out of 10, your cost of living goes up to about $9,500 a month. And not necessarily because you're spending it. You might buy a bigger house. You might get a new car. You might decide you're going to put some of the money in funds for your kiddos. You're going to put some of the money in a retirement fund. So at the end of the day, this is at the end of the month, this is what you have left. Now, I want you to really think about this. When we were young and we were working, we had this much money coming in and we made it work. And if we would have had the amount coming in when we were, 18 that we have coming in now, it would it kind of it would have been a different ball game, right? It would have been completely different, right? We would have thought it was so much and we wouldn't have had all of the things that go with it. Now, if we look at now when we have all these payments for all these things and then oh, I'm in this price bracket, so I have to look the part and buy the things, and we put ourselves right back to that same amount of money being left over every month. Now let me ask you this, with $10,000 coming in a month, it feels like a lot of responsibility, like I'm responsible for this money. Now I want to go into savings, and we're going to get to the kiddo and the love part in a second. This is just a really easy way to break into fear. If you have $100,000 in your savings account, let's start with 500. You're not going to worry about it. You of course you don't want it to disappear, but you don't feel like, "Oh my gosh, I should be doing something with that money," right? And then let's just say you have $100,000 or 10,000 and then $100,000 in your bank account. You start to be a little bit more like, ooh, you start to feel a little bit like, oh, I can get this little thing or that little thing or this big thing, right? Now go to, let's just say 500,000 in your bank account. And I want you to really think about this. You have 500,000 in your bank account. What do you think you are supposed to do with that or should do with that? What are the things, because for most people, especially women, they might say buy a house, get a car that's reliable if they don't already have a house, or get a better house, a bigger house, or whatever house, and then take care of. Take care of my kiddos, my um, Rebecca hit the nail on the head. That's the answer, baby girl. Um, take care of my kids, my parents, my siblings. I would blah 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 for them. Okay, so that's or if the money is just sitting there, do you feel nervous? Do you feel like it should be doing something? Do you feel worried somebody's going to take it? I always feel worried the government's, if like I always joke, if I win the lottery, the government will come take the money for some reason. That might be a past life thing. Cheers to that. Um, as much as taxes are, they take more than 50% now. So, hey, okay, Heather says, yes, I would always say if I could make 60K, I would be great when I was a teenager. Now I'm like, I need 100,000 just to buy. I'm adding this in, Heather, just to buy bread, eggs, and milk. Oh my goodness. Yeah. The cost, the numbers have, what the numbers can do has dramatically changed, right? 100,000 when we were 18 would have been like, I'm set for life, except for life keeps lifing. Okay. Rebecca hit the nail on the head with invest, make more money of it. That's an awesome answer. Find ways to make your money make money. And that is awesome. And then Heather says, I would pay my parents back for the thousands they spend on me and the kids. Yeah, that's so okay. There's some of the answers. I'm going to come to YouTube now and read some of the answers. I put a million worried, not worried about what people think. That's awesome, Fawn. Good for you. Pay bills and start business to help others. Love that. um, Music Lady says, my dad always said, the more money you have, the more money you spend. And isn't it that it? And some people say the more money you have, the more responsibility or the more you have to worry. And then this is going back to Catherine's remark. When we were younger, for some of us, and even now, I hear this all the time. People think that people who have money, especially a substantial amount, owe it to other people, and they're greedy if they don't give it away. So I always see this in terms of, and I'm not talking about who these people are as people. I'm referencing them because they do have money. Okay. Um, with Elon Musk and how much money he has, if he would just divide that up against all the citizens, we would all be okay. Okay. And my question to them is, if that was all your money, would you do that? Not a chance. They would not. They would not. But the idea of what people have said in our past and what people say in our present really hinders where we sit financially. Now, think about your family members. If you had $1 million and they knew, what would their expectations and or reactions be for you? And now think about that. Rebecca says, when I move from one state to another, I set my mind up that I will be paid. That I will be paid all my bills before I moved. I need it, no unnecessary bills. Yes, that's a huge thing. Nothing unnecessary. That's such a great way to think about it, too, Rebecca. Absolutely. Certain people will come around more if I had that amount of money. Absolutely, Heather. And I'm going to bring up something now that it goes to our core conscious and subconscious fears. People having expectations of us, expectations of what we have, feeling like if we have it, they have it, or we should share it, or what we should do with it, telling us how to spend it or use it. And that's a really big concern for people because we don't always, especially if it's someone we care about, love, or they were a authority figure over us, we don't always know how to handle that. We don't. We don't always know how to handle that. So we're going to do a clearing any and all fear in any way related to money. We're going to clear that. And then I want to do this. Any vows. Oh, this one's hitting me already. Can you guys feel this? Like my heart is like boom, boom, boom. Any vows that we have made at any time about money. Let's heal, clear, release that. And then any fears with large, I'm dizzy, you guys. Tell me what's going on with you. Any fears with having large amounts of money. Rebecca says she's dizzy too. Yeah, girl, right? Oh my goodness. Um, okay, any fears with having large amounts of money? Let's clear that. Oh, yes. Okay. Can any other money fear and Juan, this is like the government. The bank is the government. If you know, you know, the Rothschilds are the federal banking system and they run everything. So the Rothschilds and the other, there's like six families, but the Rothschilds, I believe they're in charge of the banks, the hospitals, the schools, the books that teach our kiddos. Um, and a couple of other things. I'm sorry. Oh, the churches. There, it's one tree with all the branches. I only worried bank crashes. Yeah, and but I'm going to tell you something, Fawn, and I want you to think about this because this, as I read that, this flashed in my head. Heather says her head is head heavy and chest. Yeah, I feel like this on my chest and dizziness. Okay, Heather, Fawn, way back, our grandfathers and great grandfathers used to hide money in their mattress, in old paint cans, in all these different things. They would put their silver, their gold, whatever they had in all these different places. So if you ever clean out an old house, make sure you look in the paint cans, old paint cans and everything. Um, and the banks, nothing ever happened, right? So I think, and I want to be very, very clear about this, and I want you guys to replay this part of it. I want you to replay this part of it. And we are at the 40, oh my gosh, we're already 43 minutes in, the 43-minute mark of the show. Energy is energy. Fearful energy is easier to control. People who are afraid are very easy to control. Think about the last time you were in a relationship and you were afraid of losing that relationship and how you would have done anything to keep that relationship. Who's been there? Shamefully. I think maybe some of us have been there at some point. If they can get you to be afraid, if anyone anyone can get you to be afraid about your money, you will do whatever you need to do for it, right? And all the things coming out right now, and with so much social media and so many supposed experts talking about, I mean, they've been talking about the banks are going to crash for like 10 years now. And yes, we are seeing some things in other countries go on. And I'm not making a prediction right now, but I'm not making any predictions. All I'm saying is we have to live in faith, and we cannot, if what we fear, we can bring to us. And if the whole collective is fearful about it, it might bring it for the whole collective. So the agenda of flooding the news, social media, yada, 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 with these things can bring a collective change in things that we are afraid of or things that we have faith in. It goes both ways. We choose. We choose to say, yes, I believe, or I think this is a possibility, or no, this is not going to be a possibility. Our grandparents, great grandparents, it never happened to them, right? And we would hope it will never happen to us. But instead of hiding our money in mattresses and paint cans, we put it in a bank, which again, we feel we don't have the control over, right? We've put it under somebody else's guidance and control. That is a big one. I'm terrified of millions of dollars and a healthy body. Because what you're afraid of, you can bring to you. Good one. I love that. Okay. Um, so let's look at that now. And I'm going to bring up the body thing for you, Heather. I am. And it's going to be some people, one thing, oopsie, one thing, because I did weight loss programs with hypnosis for thousands of people. And one thing is people in, and Heather, this isn't pointing you out, this is just everything I've learned through all of the programs, is this: people who were in unhealthy relationships put on weight as a buffer and a form of protection. And this goes so subconsciously. It's a fear. They had a fear of having a certain, it was a multi level. If I have this body, people will want me and I'll be used and abused again. I might be hurt again. Um, Putting on the weight created a buffer between them and the other person, and it felt safer having more weight on. They felt safer and more stable having the weight on because they they could um they if something happened, they had that weight to protect them. It was like a protective coating, if you will. Um, yeah, Heather says, yeah, I can totally see that. Now, I will say a lot of people, once they take the weight off, if they have not healed what caused the weight to come on, the weight will come right back on. The weight will come right back on. So that is a fear too. Our body, the way our body looks. The stronger we feel and the stronger we are, the the healthier our body will start to look, the more we can safely work on it. I hope that makes sense to everybody. And if you've had that experience, please let me know because I know so like I said, thousands of people in Rebecca says yes, and it is a fact, and that's the same reason for smokers. People who smoke, they'll like if somebody's talking to them and they don't want to hear it, they'll like puff their cigarette and blow it in their face to back them up and create that wall. Heather says, I eat when I stress and when I'm happy. Yeah, food is very, very emotional. Okay, if fear is an illusion, right? And it is. And we're living in faith. Let's create some statements, some faith based statements that are relevant for you. So, one of mine is no matter how much money I have, I'm safe and protected. I'm always taken care of. I am always, always, always taken care of. I've always been taken care of. I will always be taken care of. Those are some of mine. And when it comes to our pets or our children, I, even though we have a little bit of fear, just the same way we are always taken care of, we have to believe our children, my children are divinely protected. My pets are divinely protected. So, those are some of the statements we can use. And as far as partners, because I did want to go a little bit into the whole family, friends, partners end of it. When somebody is in our life and they're not healthy for us, God, if you believe in God or source or whatever you believe in, will show us again and again and again. And especially for asking, show me the truth about this person, show me the truth about their intentions for me. You will see it, it will be there. And then it's your choice to stay and repeat the cycle that might not be the best cycle for you or to leave. And once we are out of that situation, feeling safe enough to go into another situation with someone can be somewhat difficult. But we have to go back to the good relationships and the people who have good relationships and keep that our single focus. And one of the things I like to say when people come into my life that like are not the best fit for me, and that's the way we can say it without demeaning or being rude or bad to other people or blaming other people because sometimes we just I don't want to sit here and go, oh my such and such person was such a piece of poop. Maybe they were. Maybe that's true. It probably is. But a better statement, because that puts you in victim mode, and we don't want to be in victim mode. A better statement is, oh, we just were not a good fit. I learned to pay attention when you see a red flag or you see something that makes you question it to just get out as soon as you can, right? Because that way it's not such a big bad horrible thing. You've learned valuable lessons, and it's not that maybe this person probably did do some things that were not very good, whether it was a friend or a partner, but you could just say they weren't a good fit. So now I'm going to be with somebody who is a much better fit, a much better fit. And that way you're not carrying as much of that with you. Hey, Gemini. Um, so that is one of the things that I would say if you're afraid to re-enter friendships or another relationship, that's the way to handle it, is to use the terminology or the verbiage of, that just wasn't a good fit. Or like, sometimes we get a pair of jeans. I don't know why I'm using this, but I'm going to, and they're so amazing when we get them. And then we wear them for a little bit and they soften up and they fit so good, right? And we love them. But then all of a sudden, either they go out of style or maybe they rip or they just don't fit us any longer. And we don't cry over those jeans. We might try to find another pair like them, but we don't sit and we don't go, "Oh my god, those jeans," right? We just move on and get different jeans. And I'm not saying people are that easy to replace, but there are millions of people. There's someone out there that's going to be good to you, that is going to look at you and go, "She is or he is the perfect person for me." Okay? So, when it comes to, like, being fearful of reentering, say, just because I meet somebody, it doesn't mean I'm committed to them. I can take my time and get to know them. I don't have to, have a hoedown the first night we get together. I can decide if this is gonna go or not go for us, okay? And so does anybody have anything they want to, discuss or talk about or go over as far as a fear and turning it into a faith? It's time, let it go. Let go of that comfort. Yep. Move on to something new. And that's a thing. I want to bring this up. Even if it didn't work out with your last person or your last friend or whatever it was, when they came in, you didn't realize it was not going to work out, but you could easily in the beginning it was so good and you didn't think you would have met them, right? So easily other people can come in just like that, but even better because this time you're going to pay attention to anything that is you're going to pay attention right, no benefit of the doubt, no making excuses for other people. Either it's good or it's not. They show you who you are and you believe it. You don't try to fix them and you get to move on. Catherine says, I wrote down your faith statements. Thank you so much, Tony Girl. Oh my goodness, you are so welcome. And thank you, Catherine. Thank you. Um, so when it comes to a new person, just say, and here's the mistake so many of us make. If you're a single Pringle out there, I love the woman who says that. I can't remember her name right now. She goes, if you're a single as Pringle, um, here's the thing. Instead of saying, I just want love, I want someone to love, I just want a partner, I just want someone, get a goldfish. Get a goldfish and love the poop out of that goldfish. Get a kitten from the shelter. If you like fixing damaged things, go to the shelter and volunteer. A women's shelter, a animal shelter, whatever shelter. But if you want a partner, right? If you want a partner, don't say, I just want someone, I want a man or a woman. Say, I want my husband, I want my spouse, I want that person that's going to be a healthy, loving marriage with me. And again, focus on the marriages that you see that are good, the relationships that you see that are very good, not your past experiences. Because I'm going to tell you, if you know of one person that has a really good relationship, a healthy relationship, then everybody can have a healthy relationship. They just did their due diligence in the beginning of that relationship. And I'm going to use someone I know as an example. I know of this person. Her first husband was not a good fit at all. Not a good fit at all. He was just, I don't, I don't want to trash him, but my nephew's wife and him are very happy. I think. I don't know. Just to give you an example. But she, as soon as they were apart, she 100% started dating and was interviewing the people she was dating. She was interviewing the men. She was straightforward, not afraid to say the things, ask the questions, just very blunt and to the point, like dot, 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 dot. She knew what she would put up with, what she wouldn't put up with. And her husband have one of the healthiest relationships I've ever seen because she was very, she did the hard things first. She cut a lot of people out. She didn't go for the goosebumps. She didn't go for, oh, this guy makes me my gives me butterflies. She looked at everything from what kind of character and ethics to what he did for a living and how he would be able to provide in a family situation. She didn't think, oh well, it's okay, we can work on that. She was so single mindedly. And listen, we live in a practical world. A person's a person's ability to make money, if we can do it, there is no excuse our partner cannot. Okay? There is no reason for that. And I'm talking in general, not every single person. But there are so many women out here going, "Oh, well, no, he just can't find it." No, no. You know what? Arby's is hiring every other day. If you're a protector and a provider, you are at least going to do that until you get the next and the next and the next. You're not going to be living off of your partner. So she did her due diligence of checking every box and making sure she did her chart in her head. At least she knew exactly what she wanted. She had all of her boxes and she did not settle until they were checked. And she has a very healthy and loving relationship. Now, if you think about it that way, I want to be so clear on this. There are there are really poopy people out there. There are super poopy people out there, and they usually turn us on a lot because that's how they get into our life and stay into our life. They have that thing that turns us on and makes us go, oh my God, right? Not all people that turn us on are poopy people, though. But I think you know what I'm saying without me saying more. But there are really, really good people out there. There are so many good men and women out there that just want a normal relationship. But some of us are so hooked on chaos, which also looks like excitement, or that feeling that we can't get out of our own way to get with a good person and let go of poopy people. Okay. There's a lot of words I could have used. I think poopy people's really nice. Um, the next thing I want to say when it comes to relationships, take your time. Take your time. Get to know the person. If they don't want to take the time to get to know you, that's because they're only interested in knowing your private parts. And let them go because that's all it's ever going to be. Okay. Now, the fear of repeating the past is the only fear that plays in your head. Sometimes we have a fear that's like something we never happened, right? But we've heard it or seen it someplace, like terrified of sharks. I've never ever seen a shark, but I should have never ever been allowed to watch Jaws. Terrified of sharks. So afraid of sharks. I don't want to be in the I want to be in the ocean, but I want to only be to my knees in the ocean. I feel like then I'd have a fighting chance against a shark. That is such an irrational fear based on TV. Right? Right. Okay. So anything else, you guys? True. Fawn says exactly true. So some of our fears are so irrational, but some of them, some of them are based on what we've already experienced in our past. Something that has happened and we're afraid it's going to happen again. If we have done the work and we look for the signs, it won't happen again. It should not happen again. We won't fall for the same type of guy or girl again. Hopefully, because we'll recognize when things start to happen. We'll go, wait, this is familiar, but not in a good way. Okay. Hey, Jeffrey, thanks for joining. The worst sharks are land sharks. So true. So true. Oh my gosh, stingrays hurt so bad. Yeah, I think my youngest brother was bit by a stingray. I'm not positive, but yeah, land sharks. That's funny, Jeffrey. Okay, you guys, if there's no other fear, I only go on rafts since stingrays. Fawn says, got me once. Ooh, okay, so the thing is, people say if a stingray bites you, somebody has to pee on you. Did somebody have to is that true? I just don't know. I think that's what happened with my youngest brother. I think they were in Italy and like he got bit by either they were either in Florida or Italy and he got bit by a stingray. I think his dad had to take care of that, I think. I don't know if that's a fact. I don't know if that's true. Oh my goodness. Okay, you guys. So um I hope this has helped. If there's only faith and fear is an illusion, and then you have the faith, I've always been taken care of, I will always be taken care of. Everything always works out for me. It might not work out right in this second to the extent that I would like it to, but I know it will. And if I'm always taken care of, my kiddos and my pets are always taken care of, right? Then that is where we are. Okay, I'm going to read next week's question. And Rebecca, thank you so much for putting it on the screen. What if there is only heaven and heaven is everywhere? I love that because I'm going to tell you something. And this is like a prelude to next week's show. There are people on this plane that we live on that believe it's hell. They say, no, this is hell. And that's what their life looks like. That's what it represents. Then there are people that say this is a slave planet. And that's because that's where they are in their mind. They feel like they're being used as a slave that works for the big cog in the machine. I don't know what a cog in the machine is. I don't even know why I said that. And then there are people that believe this is a school and they go through their whole existence here learning and growing. And then there are people that believe heaven is earth. And yes, of course, we all go through the good, the bad, and the ugly, but ultimately we are surrounded by angels and guides. And this is not what we are going to talk about this next week. So ready. Get ready to discuss that. And I also want to discuss, so in case I forget between now and next week, the people in our life, depending on who we allow into our life to spend the majority of our time with or to influence us, and this is TV, media, social media, and people, can make us feel like we are going through hell or we are going through heaven. Next week, you guys, next Tuesday. Next Tuesday. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I love each and every one of you so very, very much. I'll be back Monday with answers from heaven. Answers from heaven. They are, but like psychic medium Tony Green answering your questions, helping you connect with loved ones. And Tuesday with our next question: what if there is only heaven and heaven is everywhere and everything? I added everything, but there we go. Thank you again so much, everybody, for being here. Until next time, have an absolutely amazing rest of the day.